Let's do that again. I don't know if you guys heard me. I might have started that too early. Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. Let me start the video off by saying this. BGS, you rang? We talking about divesters. Did somebody call Mr. Z? I think somebody called Mr. Z without even trying. Okay. So well, Mr. Anderson. Actually, Miss Crystal Swirls, right? So, yeah, I mean, Mr. Z says this all the time, right? Like, hey, let them talk long enough. Let them talk. The internet will expose us all. No, in reality, we will expose ourselves on the internet, right? We will tell it what it really is eventually. We will. And here we go with this this young lady, not so young lady, is telling y'all what it really is, right? Brad is settling for her, settling for black women. I mean, we live in an anti-black white supremacist society. What did y'all think it was? Sorry, ladies, what did you think it was? So what this is saying is that y'all were attempting to gaslight us forever. Y'all knew we were telling y'all the truth, that the power dynamic. Y'all knew we were telling y'all the truth about how they see you. Crystal Swirls is admitting it. I'm waiting for Chrissy. I'm waiting for Yanni. Don't worry about it. They will. Eventually they will. Right? Eventually they will. Paris Milan. Well, Paris Milan and Yanni. Well, Paris Milan and Chrissy tell you all the time. Y'all just ignore that they're telling y'all they're doing this for the money. Right? Because they know y'all need some hope in y'all life. So the white man is your hope. Ah, your hope in more ways than one. Y'all see him as the Jesus figure. And y'all need him as a rhetorical weapon to hit black men upside the head with. Clearly. Right? So yeah, BGS plays a clip from Miss Crystal Swirls, um, pretty much saying, Brad, I realize you're settling for me, but I'm here, I'm here. Oh, it's so disgusting seeing a woman beg, right? It's just so unladylike to see a woman beg, right? Ugh. Obviously, there's extenuating circumstances. If you mess up and your man about to walk out the door and you know that's the best you could get, yeah, you might have to do a bit of groveling. But just seeing a woman beg, ugh, disgusting. But how old is Crystal Swirls compared to Chrissy, compared to Paris, compared to Yanni, right? So she has to be a bit more. We saw this with Crystal and Kerosene also. When they get to a certain age and they realize, wait a minute, it is us. But wait a minute, y'all knew it was you. You think Crystal and Kerosene didn't know it was black women the whole time? You think Crystal Swirls didn't know it was black women the whole time? No, they were saying, no, black men, you're going to have to deal with us and our attitude, or we're going to Brad. That's always the threat. We're going to Brad. Look, for all my Caribbean folks, particularly my folks of Haitian descent, you know what our parents used to threaten us with? If we didn't act right, they would send us to boarding school back home. Any of my Jamaicans, my Haitians, right? Any of my people from the Caribbean, even some of my people from the continent, wasn't that the threat? I'll send you back, right? I will send you, and even if you were born here in the U.S., the threat was, I will send you back. I will send you back into boarding school. That's black women. You better act right, black man, or I'll go to the white man. Yeah, but 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 Brad isn't into black women like that, and like the ones that you could possibly, entertain or that would entertain you, that's not the ones that y'all be bragging about. Well, it doesn't matter. Look, I feel less empathetic towards the Crystal Swirls because of the rhetoric. I'm laughing because of her rhetoric and the fact that they finally come out. And notice how they come out. She's not saying anything particularly, egregious. She's just groveling at white men's feet, practically begging them because we have to be very clear about this. The product that they're selling is white utopia to black women, right? You can get out of Blackistan, you can get out of the struggle. The white man's gonna take care of you. He's gonna be better looking. He's gonna be more charismatic. He's gonna have more money and status. He's gonna be better for you. Just period. Whatever whiteness he has, some of that is gonna rub off on you, right? It's the bell hooks. The woman takes on the status of the man, so you're gonna be like an off-brand white because you have a white husband. And you know what we see is behind the scenes. This is what's really going on: the begging of white men, right? This flies in the face of the loyalty talk. The problem is that black women are just simply too loyal to black men, right? Black women are too loyal to black men. Yeah. Well, it all got exposed in the wash now, didn't it? In reality, as we've been saying for the longest, the white guy isn't checking. That's not important. That's neither here nor there. That doesn't matter because, quite frankly, we've always known that. Black women have always known that. They use white men and these omniscient, omnipotent white men and non-black men as rhetorical weapons against black men. We already know this. That's not the important part. The more important part is, black women, you gonna get your mind right now? The answer is no. You're not gonna get your mind right, but it's going to be so difficult. That's why I keep on telling y'all, ladies, any woman that's listening, the two of you that's listening, right? So I keep on reminding you, take note of the names that keep on telling you there's nothing wrong with black women. It's all black men. Take a note of the names that keep on blowing smoke up your rear end. Keep on instigating all of this divisive talk between black men and black women. Take note of it. Take note of well, I've said their name before. Take note of the Chrissies. Take note of the Paris. Take note of the Yannis. Take note of them. So that in 15 years, 20 years, you will remember that when you were 20-something years old and 30-something years old, you were listening to these women. And much of the reason why you're single is because of your own actions, but because this was commonplace for you. Spending an hour or so listening to Paris all day, right? Or Yanni, or Chrissy, or Mahogany Pink, or Crystal Swirls, or whichever one of these people that know they're selling y'all on a product they know doesn't work that way. And that's the egregious part, ladies. Instead of them telling y'all, yeah, y'all better get your mind right and hold on to the best black man you could get a hold of because it's ugly out here. You think Chrissy don't know it's ugly out here? Look at the damage control she tried to do with the Insider article. You think Chrissy don't know? Paris didn't touch it. Yanni didn't touch it. You think they don't know? They all subscribe to each other. You think Paris and Yanni don't know about the Insider article at this point? Right? They know. They went to college, both of them. I don't know if they graduated. Both of them attended college for some time, if I'm not mistaken. So they know. Isn't Paris from the Bay Area, California? Even if she's from the LA region, you think she don't know? Crystalline Karazin knows. Everyone in America knows. They were selling y'all on a product they know don't even work that way. Now you got Crystal Swirls begging for black women, even if she herself is in an interracial relationship. Now we catch her begging white men for the collective of black women, particularly the swirlers and divesters. Pathetic. Meanwhile, any man worth his salt know that his woman would rather drag her rear end on a damn cheese grater, then propose to him and get on one knee and propose to him, no matter how much she loves you. Meanwhile, black women, the ones that have an issue even making you a plate, are over here begging white men to settle for them. Understand the word settle. She literally used the word settle and said, I know we're not your best choice. We may not be the best for you, but you're going to have to settle down eventually. And here we are. Okay, fine. All right. Let's say it's a white dude who may not be charismatic, just a run of the mill, extra average, regular, boring white guy. Just impossibly boring, almost illegally boring, right? You still got to beat out the Latinas and the Asians, let alone his own white women, black women. Have fun with that. You still got to beat out other white women than the Asian women who damn near are tied with those white women, and then the Latinas, right? And when I'm saying Asian, I'm mainly talking East Asian. God forbid he's in the Bay Area or something like that, and there's a couple of South Asians checking him out for the same reasons you are. We're living through an economic disaster right now. Stagflation. Black women, eventually you're gonna have to say the words, right? You can die with Mr. Z said already. You can die with your pride. Continue listening to Chris Edom. You can die with your pride, ladies. You can keep it. Train tracks, train tracks, train tracks. Y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Ladies, you can keep your pride. You can keep it and die with it. Y'all already see Vivica right now. Vivica has been in Hollywood for what, 30 plus years. You think she never had a check, or the white dudes never checked her, or she never checked with white dudes? No, come on, stop it. Tracy Ellis Ross and all of them, name them. Yep. I say these things, and I know some of the brothers here are like, Mr. Z, this thing, right? But I think sometimes we need to state the obvious, right? You strip people of plausible deniability. You take away the ability to say, I didn't know, or no one told me, or I thought, or I felt, or I believed, right? You strip people of that and you put in their face the bare bones of, and this is the important part. No, you thought you knew. You were adamant about going in the wrong direction. You were adamant about it. All the signs, for all of us that ever play racing games, and you might spin out or you lose control of the car or whatever, and for maybe a nanosecond you're going the wrong direction, and there's the sign will come up on the screen and it'll be blinking wrong direction, or it'll be a stop sign or something telling you you're going in the wrong direction, right? Black women have that. They have it. They just refuse. They just want to go in the wrong direction, and they're willing to hurt themselves to spite you, black man. That's what all of this divester rhetoric has been online for the past few years. It's all of this language was to spite you, and they're willing to hurt themselves to spite you. Right? They're willing to hurt themselves to spite you. They're willing to end up in the most insane white relationship to spite you. Y'all check my community tab. Black woman in a relationship, if not married to, super clearly racist and a dumb one at that, white dude. Barely understand the words coming out the black woman's mouth, her vocabulary, right? So you have this soft-spoken, well-spoken black woman, maybe not the most, maybe some of us don't find her attractive, cool. But soft-spoken, well-spoken black woman with this air quotes former skinhead. Then we know about the black woman that is married to the Proud Boy that was, got caught up in Washington D.C. January 6th. And how many Proud Boys are also in relationship with black women? We know about that also, right? I keep on saying it. Black women, you're black, and like everybody's like, yeah, black women know they're black. No, they don't. Black women think they could elevate their blackness by ending up with non-black men, and it doesn't work that way. They don't just want to be validated by black men. They want to be validated by the approval of non-black men, particularly white men. They want to use the white man like a trophy. Look what I got, right? Now, this is not all black women, quite frankly, no. Because they know, and there are black women that would rather be single forever than be the bust down for a white dude. Because they actually think about slavery and they think about these things. But you have a lot of others, right? And as I keep on saying, the internet will expose us all, right? You stay tuned into these swirlers, divester channels. They be spilling the beans all the time in the middle of conversation. It's just that not enough of us listen to them live, and I don't blame y'all for that. Keep your sanity, right? But let me read this comment from the 18th letter. What's going on, 18th letter? Thank you for the super chat. And 18th letter said, I saw a comment of someone calling out Chrissy's fraudulent rhetoric. She told him to prove it. She knew he couldn't because she deleted the videos. And there you go. Right. Even I think she had a white guy call in that she's been corresponding with for a little while. And the white guy said, and this is Chrissy trying to play damage control, by the way. Chrissy this is her forte. This is what she's better than Yanni at. This is what she's better than Paris at. She know how to slip a punch. Oh, Chrissy know how to slip a punch, right? She knows how to stick and move. She'll slip a punch. So now she's playing damage control. And so now she's bringing on the white guy, to pretty much say, hey, divestors, y'all sounding crazy, right? Y'all sound a little too crazy with the white worship rhetoric, right? So yeah, she's trying to play damage control. This is what it is. And y'all give me a second. Talk amongst yourselves. Give Mr. Z a second. And that, why is Mr. Z fascinated by this divester? And quite frankly, I'm a heterosexual man, so what brothers do with their penis is neither here nor there with me. But I do have a larger critique of just white worship coming from people of color in general, particularly black people, particularly black women. And why I'm so fascinated by this is because of the previous 500 years, right? And it's fascinating to see people of color, black people specifically, black women even more specifically, speak the way they do when the history flies in the face of everything they saying, right? Particularly over the past 50 or so odd years with Loving versus Virginia. This is why I bring it up all the time. If the issue was black women's loyalty, you've had over 50 years to prove otherwise. Not only that, if white men were this, supposed great super beings, there's no way you would turn them down. You could cut the crap with the loyalty thing. So the reason why you see Mr. Z speaks about this divester thing all the time, because it's fascinating to have been in different environments with white men, see what they glance at, see what they look at, see how they speak, whether it's blue collar, white collar, whether it's working class, whether it's closer to upper middle class or upper middle class, right? And the handful of rich white men that I've encountered and spoken to and been around, and then to hear black women speak, it's fascinating because you're like, but the math isn't mathing here, right? The math isn't mathing here, right? And when we say black women, I gotta put this disclaimer out. Not all, and I know some brothers are so tired of having of Mr. Z, with the disclaimer. There's a reason why I'm doing this. There's bigger long game. Not bigger long, but bigger and long game, right? Um, but it we've gotten to the place, and this is why I came in the door saying the internet will expose us all. No, in reality, we will expose ourselves, right? And the way people are speaking about just essentially going to pick a non-black person off of a tree, particularly black women, right? This loyalty talk, the problem is that we're too loyal to black men. What's going to make that rhetoric so embarrassing is the data that comes. This is why Chrissy didn't read the insider article to her subscribers. Because she didn't read the article to her subscribers. She read that damn article. She did not read it to her subscribers because she's trying to sell a product, and that article flies in the face of it. Yanni and Chrissy did not cover it because they're trying to sell a product. The lady literally read that article and then turned around and still said everything she always said. She still came out her mouth and said, I just think we're not out there enough. And yeah, you're gonna run into racism, and yeah. Then you got Crystal Swirls, who's middle aged. You have Crystal and Kara's in middle age, and every once in a while they'll still defend their position, but every once in a while they just come out the mouth and just say like this, right? And I remember a video Sarge Willie Pete covered of Crystal and Kara's in years and years and years ago now. Got to be at least maybe 5 years ago, right? Where a young lady, I think, was Crystal Curzon speaking to a young white dude, or was she speaking to a black woman, or was she reading an article? Something along those lines. One of those things. And the white guy said, yeah, I'm messing with this black woman, but I want white kids. And you saw Crystal Curzon get flustered covering that story. And said, you want white kids? Exactly. The white guys would tell it. Look, as a black person, I find it extremely insulting how many of us are pining and begging specifically for white people, when the white people, white men and white women, are telling you, no, they just enjoying the sex with us, especially in their youth. And then to see black women over and over again run into the buzzsaw of all you were was practice for some white guy in college. Shout out to that girl that was crying in her car because the frat bro played her ass. Right? Just being target practice. just using you for exercise, pelvis exercise, right? Here you have this Cinderella whirlwind Disney fantasy playing in your head about how you're going to bring him to Thanksgiving dinner, and hopefully your ex-boyfriend in high school sees you with him. Hopefully that cute chick from high school sees you with him at the gas station. Here you have all of this playing in your mind, and he's just having fun with you. And your fave content creators play that down. Right? Vet all men, ladies. We are living through stagflation. You you don't understand. This is the thing. The environment is getting so toxic now. You're gonna have to get with someone or be a shout out. Who was it that said mommy mates? Was it Indigo Flow? Or who was it that said mommy mates a few videos ago? Or mama mates? You could be living with your mom forever. You got to get down with a man, and it's probably gonna be a black man, and he don't need to be rich. Oh yeah, ladies, he don't need to be rich, and y'all still gonna struggle with that black man financially. But it's better what you gonna do by yourself, unless you plan on living with your mom for the rest of your life. Well, for the rest of her life. In Detroit, what's going on, Detroit? Detroit says Crystal divested blob swirls. So he says Crystal's quote divested blob swirls. I'm saying, right? And better uses can't F your way out of white supremacy. We keep on trying to tell them. And when Mr. Z says, in this case, when Mr. Z says the internet will expose us all, what that's really saying in this case is that all of the excuses are going to be exposed. This is where Dr. Jennifer Lundquist comes in, right? This is where Richard Reeves comes in, because all of this information is so easily accessible. It just makes it so much more difficult for people to hide behind the lies and the rhetoric, right? You could talk all that loyalty talk pre high speed internet. You could talk all that loyalty talk before we start getting YouTube, or before we start having academics go on different platforms on YouTube to promote their books or promote their lecture tour or whatever. You could talk all that talk then, right? But it becomes increasingly difficult to keep on badgering black men about what they haven't built and what they haven't done and how horrible they are. It makes it really difficult when we have easily accessible information. We could pull up the articles instantly, right? We could pull up the data instantly. We could pull up the videos instantly. Right? We could show these things. And I said this before. I think I need to make a special video for this. The reason why women are going to, and black women in specific, are going to have to course correct. It's pretty simple. You don't have a choice. Yikes. You simply don't have a choice. I know, in this society where we can walk down a cereal aisle with how many dozens of different cereals. It's difficult for people to believe that when you can walk down the juice aisle, with how many different bottles of juice, right? Gallons of different juice. It's hard for people to believe that they don't have a choice in the matter, and they really resent not having choices, right? You don't really have a choice in the matter, ladies. Black women in particular, in some of these, like particularly the Kim Fosters of the world, even though I know she's not a card carrying divester, even though she, did go to prom with a white dude and might have lost her virginity to a white dude, possibly. Not saying that she did. She didn't say those words, but I'm trying to do the social math. Um, they take for granted how much Black women were giving the microphone over the past 40, 50 years as some of the excess crumbs of white women, right? They take for granted how much they're in the position they're in because of white feminism. Kim Foster takes that for granted. And then even with the swirlers and divesters, they take for granted how much they were able to speak like this because no one, including white people, were paying attention. But white boys are in the know now. And when I say white boys, I literally mean white underage kid, white males under the age of 18 are in the know. And young white men are in the know. They know about swirlers and divesters. They see your comments online, right? That's why I said, y'all are so loud. Y'all don't understand how much that's affecting even your own campaign. When I brought up Rollo Tomasi and his reaction to Black women, and Rollo Tomasi, white man with a very predominantly white male following, when he spoke about how disgusting it was to see Black women dancing on Kevin Samuel's grave, and then on his own channel he reads the comments from, I can't remember what content creator it was, what Black female content creator it was. You don't even understand how your rhetoric is destroying your own chances, because that white man still wants plausible deniability. He could be racist and anti-Black male as hell. But y'all are not even giving them the white guys that might have even dated you, or even possibly would have took you seriously. You're not even giving them plausible deniability. Ladies, y'all are that loud. That's why Chrissy's trying to play damage control right now. She helped to promote the rhetoric. Crystal Swirls helped to promote that rhetoric. Yanni and Paris helped to promote that rhetoric. Crystal and Karazin definitely helped to promote that rhetoric. They helped to promote the rhetoric, and now you see Chrissy, because she know how to slip a punch. Now she's trying to play damage control by bringing on the white guy. I think his name was Zach. For the white guy to tell divestors, okay, y'all being a little too loud, and y'all can't put white men on this Superman pedestal. We're still human beings. We're just regular people. But really, Chrissy needed that white guy to say that. It's interesting listening to these people make the water so toxic, and then now they're trying to find a way to clean the water. They helped to make the water so toxic. Now they're trying to clean the water. Right? Y'all don't want to have the conversation of how many of the white guys are just extra regular dudes. Y'all are speaking about these omnipotent, omniscient white guys, and y'all ended up with the most extra average, basic white guys humanly possible. All the jokes about, yeah, when a Black man's with a white woman, he's with this heavy set, honey boo boo built white woman. But when a Black woman's with a white man, oh yeah, the white man get him the baddest sister. Eddie Griffin done said it. Dr. Umar done said it. It's a common trope in the Black community. You actually look at what's really going on, though. Most Black people, when you get a white person, you get a white person on your level. You get a white person on your level. If you're an extremely attractive black woman, yeah, you might get a baller white dude. If you're extremely attractive black man or you have some money, yeah, you get you a super bad white woman. All this talk, black women are getting the baddest, the white men with the most money. No, they don't. No, they don't. That's why we could count on a hand, on a couple of fingers and toes, all the white celebrities with a black wife or a black ex-wife. I'm not talking about black women that they had sex with. Brad Pitt almost had sex with Robin Givens, or maybe he did after or before the Mike Tyson situation. But would Brad Pitt have married Robin Givens? No. That's another reason, by the way, rest in peace, that Kevin Samuels told y'all he don't count nothing but the ring. Oh, excuse me, my bad. He said Brad Pitt. Okay. Yeah, Brad Pitt, yeah. That's why we don't count. Have y'all ever seen Brad Pitt with another black woman? Huh? He was about to get his head knocked clean off his shoulders by Mike Tyson. But have you ever seen him with a black woman in public on some relationship thing? Ashton Kutcher and Rihanna had something going on way back when. She exposed that. How many of y'all know that? Was that ever going to turn into marriage? No. You know how many of those type of stories are flowing around, not just in Hollywood? I'm using Hollywood as an example. You think Crystal Swirls doesn't know that? You think Chrissy doesn't know that? Yanni doesn't know that? Paris definitely doesn't know that? Why Mr. Z makes the content that he makes, specifically when we speak about swirlers, divesters, it's because these women are selling y'all. They're snake oil saleswomen. They selling a lie. And yes, they're selling a lie to people that want to hear a lie. Yes, that's true. But they're selling a lie. They're selling hopium. They're selling hope. And the hope is, damn, life is kind of sucky. These prices are ridiculous. I graduated with my college degree and I'm in $42,000 in student loan debt. My first job is only paying me some $15, $16 an hour. I don't see myself moving out of my parents' house. The dating scene sucks for me. But Chrissy told me if I open up my options, and there you go. Paris told me Kentanji chose better, and Eve chose better, and Serena chose better, and Kamala chose better. So maybe if I open up my options, maybe if I beat a bust down to the white dude. Yanni told me she was about the black stuff, and then after Kevin Samuels, she opened up her options. These people see black women struggling and they tell black women to do the same thing black women always been open to do. This is what's killing the loyalty talk. Shout out to Dr. Jennifer Lundquist. What kills the loyalty talk is the data. That's what kills the loyalty talk is the data. Shout out to Saint and Jason Black. Data, the data, right? The data. That's what kills this talk. So now your middle-aged women, every once in a while, they slip up more often. But don't worry, TikTok, TikTok. Chrissy gonna start slipping more and more. Well, she already told y'all she about the money. Paris told y'all she about the money too. The marriage rate is going down across America, across the West. Young people are struggling. They're not buying houses. They're not buying new cars. They're not getting married. They're not having children. They're not. What we find is increasingly, and that's I'm definitely and bear with me, BGS. I'm definitely gonna do a video about what BGS was saying about the men and the boys being single. I'm definitely gonna. I actually want to cover that first, but I have more things I want to add to that. Right. So we have all of this going on, and these people are selling everyone on BS lies. Y'all check Mr. Z community tab. I'll put y'all on new channels. I send y'all all. I put in my community tab all type of data and information, like so much because I want my subscribers to have a more worldly understanding of what's going on, right? And even with that, I think I'm being a bit arrogant because most of y'all already subscribed to what I'm subscribed to anyway, right? We watching much of the same things anyway. I shared Cold Fusion channel. I think one of the brothers in the comments was like, "Oh, you watch Cold Fusion too?" Right? Before I could even share Johnny Harris, Sarge Willie Pete shared Johnny Harris channel. That this is what's giving us a better and more accurate understanding of what's going on the planet, particularly in America. And then you can extrapolate from that how that's going to affect the Black American community. Your fave other subscribers over there, check their community tab. Go ahead. I see Yanni trying to. There's no way Yanni's not a subscriber, or she don't listen in occasionally to my little BS channel because I see her trying to course correct while still staying on the same road. I know, Mrs. Z, that don't make no sense. I know, I know. She's trying to bring in these macro concepts to justify what she on. It ain't gonna work, Yanni. You're gonna run into the wall. Right. I said before, black women, you really only got real one choice. Ah, I know it hurts. It hurts, black men. And you better come over here with a smile. And you better come over here with a smile. No sideways look, no grimace on your face. Oh no. Right? Right? So Crystal Swirls, thank you, BGS, for playing that clip in the beginning. Thank you for playing that clip in the beginning. Thank you to Sarge Willie Pete years ago when he played the clip of Crystal and Karazin with speaking about. I think she was reading an article. I think that's what it was what was happening. Oh no, she was reading an email or something from some white guy. That's what it was. I think she was reading an email from some white guy that said like, I'm messing with this black woman, and everything's good, but I want white kids. The white man admitted everything's good, but I want white kids. Right? So like I started the video, BGS you rang. Y'all know once we start talking either Relationships, intimacy, and money, or we start talking about swirlers and divestors, Mr. Z is there. Because it's fascinating to me how people, particularly women, rationalize these things. Particularly women of color. Oh, black women, and even more specifically, right? How do they think about these things? And more importantly, because y'all know this is really what it is, how do they feel about these things? Right? And I got to bring this up for Rogish because he laughed when I brought it up. Man, them white guys ain't sacrificing granddad's 67 Mustang for you. They're not. They're not. They're not sacrificing the fact that they might have a chance to get their uncle's Rolex when he passes away. They're not, right? Their uncle's 96 Grand Sport Corvette. They're not. That's 75, 50, $30,000 inheritance. God forbid it's over $100,000. They're not. If mama tells them it's that black woman and you know she ain't calling you no black woman, it's that black woman or this house, come on now. And that's for the ones that actually like y'all. Crystal swirls told white men to settle for black women. That's disgusting. So black men need to grovel at black women's feet. White men get to settle for black women. Black women demand that black men live in the hive model. Meanwhile, white men have to settle for black women, right? And KW Don says, and thank you for the super chat, KW Don. KW Don says, didn't Crystal Swirls get her head knocked off by Dusty Dan and some other meathead white boy in front of her son? Wow, I never knew that. Who has autism? Even Divested Zealot distance herself from her because she is bad for business. I did not know that. I did not know that. Hmm. Wow. Wow. Hmm. So you were or are in whole DV situations with the white dudes. Well, that's something that's not necessarily new to us. Anybody know the story of the DeBarge family? I'm just saying. So we're gonna have this, It's unfortunate. The real the world is showing you how, not I was gonna say how ugly it can be, but it's actually not, thank God. Right? But we are dealing with a level of stagflation. There was a window that was open in a certain way, right? Of upward mobility, and that window may not be open the same anymore. And in spite of that, you have content creators like a Crystal Swirls, like a Real Talk with Yanni, And I'm gonna cover some of the stuff Real Talk with Yanni has been saying lately also. To say, yeah, you got it, but you really don't got it. Right? You understand, but you really don't understand. Right? But in this current environment, you still have this divester and swirler talk. And it's always going to be with us. So if the goal here is to shut them all the way up, that's never going to happen. But for these people to be speaking this way in this environment lets you know how insane they are. I will say this again. I'm going to say this like forever, but I will bring this up again for those of you that have never heard Mr. Z say this. You knew these people were gone mentally when they were calling into Rest in Peace Kevin, when they were calling into Kevin Samuel's show in the middle of COVID. Y'all remember in the beginning of COVID, nobody knew what was going to happen? It could have been Armageddon tomorrow for all we knew. And in the middle of COVID, old, young, light skinned, dark skinned, heavy set, slim, educated, not educated, West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, South, west of the Mississippi, east of the Mississippi, right? North of the Mason Dixon line, south of the Mason Dixon line, it didn't matter. In the US, even outside the US, white, black, Latina, Asian, calling into Kevin Samuel's show, still talking about baller dudes. Somebody, right? But because Kevin's black and we're all black and black women, barely 60 years out of Jim Crow, not even 60 years out of Loving versus Virginia, talking about what they not going to settle for, talking about this mythical, magical white man. That's why Kevin had to do a whole episode about the swirlers, and he did a really good analogy with the car stuff. Oh, that was a beautiful analogy he put together. That let me know Kevin knew about cars too. Right? So and the reason why I bring up COVID as an example is to say, if we were in the middle of COVID and these people had to move back in with their parents or had to bunker down where they were, had to damn near get into fights for toilet paper in the grocery stores, right? In your big box stores, right? Were locked down at home for a couple years and they still were talking about what they're not going to settle for. That lets you, they've been gone, right? Shout out to Earth. Earth said they've been insane, bro. Yeah, that's my point. If we're living through that and you are calling, you're losing, lady. That's the whole point. Whether you're 23 or 63, you calling into a middle-aged man show on the internet for the world to see because you're losing. That's the whole point. You're losing or you're lost. Young or old. And you still talking about what you ain't gonna do and what you're not gonna settle for and who's not on your level. When you go onto this man's show, mainly looking for a baller, let's be very clear, we already know that's what the whole six-figure thing was. And for the vast majority of you, you just didn't qualify, even for the super attractive ones that called in. You calling in was admission that your looks weren't enough. Ooh, damn, Mr. Z. Shout out to that pretty ass sister from Texas. There was a couple of super attractive women. It didn't matter because you calling into Kevin's show was a tacit admission that you're losing, and your attractiveness didn't matter. It didn't matter enough not to land you and definitely keep around the men that you claim you thought you were on their level or they were on your level because your ego. So Crystal Swirls could talk all that crap about settling. Even the super attractive sisters ain't getting the white guys like that. Ooh, damn, Mr. Z. Right? How old is the show that Chili was on from TLC? Wasn't that 10 years ago, give or take a year or two? She just not getting her the white dude for real, and he's a decade younger than her and not as famous as her. Goddamn. Well, yikes. And Big Kev says, and thank you for the super chat. Big Kev says, having loyalty is like having class. If you have to consistently or constantly, sorry, announce it, you don't have it. Point exactly. This is why I cringe at the loyalty talk. This is our point. That loyalty talk is just coping mechanism for anti-blackness, for racism. All that black men are colorists and featurists and texturists. Are we really though? Are we the ones that's like that? If black women are going to college and university more than black men, where are all the white guys and non-black guys to scoop up all the access black women? And then from what Chrissy tells us, don't even go to HBCUs, ladies, because black men are colorist. So you ain't gonna get chose anyway. Fine. Where are all the white dudes married after college to a dark skinned, broad nose, 4C kinky hair black woman? Where are all the white guys? You full of it, right? You're full of it. So I agree with Big Kev with all this loyalty talk. If black women are outnumbering black men in university, what? 65-35, 70-30 split by the time graduation come along? Maybe even more egregious than that? That means you're in the classes with the white guys more than you're in the classes with the black guys, especially outside of HBCUs. Where are all the rings? What Chrissy and Yanni and Paris then would have you believe is that the reason why black women are in classes living in the same dorm building with the white guys, but it doesn't matriculate to marriage is simply because black women ain't checking and black women are too loyal to black men. Black women are simply too loyal to black men. That's why they're not exiting university and college with the ring from the white guy. Beginning, end. Right? So I didn't even notice. Charles said, "Link me." Charles, I'm about to close out in a minute. Right? Let's just say I'm being real reckless right now. I ain't even gonna tell y'all what it is, but I'm being real reckless right now. Right? And let me end out with a funny me and Black Uru and for those of y'all that remember this video I put out a few days ago because I got to end out with this, right? So what we're supposed to believe as black men, shout out to you, Miss Crystal Swirls. What we're supposed to believe, and Yanni and Paris and Chrissy and the rest of you, the Mahogany Pinks and Lexus Exodus, is what we're supposed to believe is on your day to day, Hemsworth, Chris Evans, Henry Cavill type white dudes, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, um, Bill Gates, um, type white men. So that's, the good-looking white dudes and the rich white dudes are walking up to black women on a daily basis. And black women are saying, no, 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 Mr. Rich, super attractive white guy. I'm too loyal to Pookie. Pookie hasn't had a job in 5 years. Um, he doesn't appreciate my figure or lack thereof. He doesn't appreciate my looks or the fact that I'm the only breadwinner at the house. I'm the primary breadwinner or the only breadwinner at the home. Um, but no, I can't take you seriously. I can't, go out on a date with you. I can't do this because I'm far too loyal to Pookie, who's sitting on my couch playing video games right now, or who's cheating on me with the light-skinned, racially ambiguous black woman, or who's cheating on me with the heavy-set, honey boo boo built white woman. No, Mr. Cavill. No, Mr. Evans. No, Mr. Hemsworth. No, Mr. Bezos. No, Mr. Gates. No, Mr. Buffett. No, I can't entertain your proposal. No, I cannot. No, I cannot entertain this because I'm far too loyal. I'm far too loyal to Pookie. That's what we are told to believe as black men. That everywhere from the university and college campuses to the factory floors to the call centers, right? At the gas station, at the fast food restaurant, are white men, right? Upwardly mobile white men, rich white men, wealthy white men, upper middle class white men, throwing themselves at black women, proposing on the spot to black women. Damn, you're being a bit obtuse and hyperbolic, Mr. Z. Oh, yeah, no, Mr. Z got to do it. We're told that black women are in those environments and turning down white guys and Latino guys and Asian guys that would give them the world because they're too loyal to black men, to the Pookies of the world. Get out of here. That's what the crystal swirls of the world would want you as black men to believe. Meanwhile, what's really going on is her begging over here. That's what's really going on. It's her begging the white guy to settle for black women. The black guy that no white woman wanted to settle for black women. That's what's actually going on, right? And Charles says, "Woo, woo!" Pull, pulling up in Raven, pulling in, excuse me, pulling up in a Raven bitch. I'm God like I'm Raiden. What? It must be a Baltimore rhyme. Yeah. Go Ravens, right? And that, yeah, you know, I, we live in America. We will see black women in loving, happy, um, up and up, nothing shady, nothing wrong, no inferiority complex, interracial relationships and marriages, specifically to white men. We will see that. That does exist. But what's really going on behind the scenes is this. You're going to see black women and white men engaged in loving relationships that will last decades. If I'm not mistaken, one of the Wayans sister is married to a white guy, right? The one from the Wayans brothers, the Wayans sister, she's married to a white guy. You wouldn't know. They're happy. They off in the corner doing their thing. If I'm not mistaken, I don't think they're divorced, right? They're off in the corner doing their thing. You're gonna see that. But more often than not, what you're gonna see is this. This lady literally begging white dudes to settle for black women, right? Literally begging. That's embarrassing. And Indigo Flow says Kim Wayans. Yeah, is it Kim Wayans? Yeah, yeah, yeah. If I'm not mistaken, yeah, yeah. I think it's that's his. Yes, right. And aren't these the same people that told you they don't want, they ain't settling for no black? They're not settling for you, who's a black man that might actually earn more than her, be more upwardly mobile than her, whether you're educated or not. You might actually rank higher on the in the dating pool than she does, but she's saying she's not settling for you. Meanwhile, Crystal Swirls is begging white men to settle for her. It's kind of embarrassing. Not even kind of. It's a lot embarrassing. Like Eric Deadman sitting right here. She ain't even dry begging. It's hella embarrassing. Exactly. And that's sad because Maxine is a gorgeous. To me, I always thought she was pretty, right? And Spain Man said, I think Maxine from Living Single been swirling it up for a while too, right? And that's okay. As long as they're not saying anything egregious, and that bar is pretty goddamn high in the black community to be to consider something that a black woman saying about black men egregious, right? And so coming to a close, thank you, Miss Crystal Swirls, for this, right? One of my you allowed me to use one of my favorite quotes because I use it all the time anyway. But thank you very much for allowing me to use one of my favorite quotes, which is the internet will expose us all. But in reality, it's going to be us exposing ourselves on the internet. And thank you very much, right? TikTok, TikTok for the rest of them to expose what they're really on, but they already have, right? But they already have. And so now we get Crystal Swirls being, you know, well, she wasn't even trying to be honest. That's the sad part. She wasn't even trying to be honest. And yeah, begging. Oh, you hate to see it, right? And what makes this bad, it's not black women ending up with white men. We live in a diverse country. Some of us that live in major cities, our cities are supremely diverse. You live in a diverse county, it's supremely diverse. Intermixing was bound to happen. That's going to happen, even with lightweight segregation. Even though in some of these major cities you have little Latinville over here, little Blackville over there, little Whiteville over here, all in the same county, all in the same city. But the race mixing, that was bound to happen. That's not the problem. The problem isn't black women ending up with white men. The problem is black women using white racist tropes against certain black men. The problem is decades of black men are secretly on the DL, down low or gay. Black men don't build, they don't provide, they don't protect, right? Put some respect on my name. Black men are colorists on the level of neo Nazis. That talk. That's been the issue. And because of all of this, it would be better if black women dated out and potentially married out. Black women dating out and marrying out isn't the problem. It's to be expected, particularly in this country, right? European beauty standard, there's plenty of people of color that get their validation through the private region of white folks. Plenty of people of color. But when the rhetoric is this, then of course, when you slip up and get caught begging the white man and groveling at his feet, of course, people are going to make videos about it. And then people like Mr. Z are going to make videos about the videos that people made about it. Shout out to BGS. Right. So on that note, love, peace, and chicken grease. Right. Mr. Z should be Manosphere show of the week on Sunday. I want to do some car talk. So I'm gonna put some polls up, um, and I'll ask some questions. So randomly, let me go through it with y'all. Some of the questions I want to ask. What was your first car? What is your dream car? What is your affordable dream car? Affordable dream car is probably gonna be something like $70,000 and less, $60,000 and less. Um, what else? We're gonna be talking about engines, obviously. Um, just modifying automobiles with your favorite style of modifying, whether it's import cars, muscle, lowriders, lifted trucks, off-roader SUVs and trucks, all of that type of stuff. So, Sunday we're gonna take a break off of the um divester talk. We're gonna take a break off of, speaking about black women and black people and black men. Take a minute off of politics, and we're gonna, try to do something a little bit lighthearted and speak about cars. That's the goal right now, barring if something doesn't come up where Mr. Z is like, yeah, we got to talk about this, right? So look out for maybe in the morning today, or yeah, probably in the morning. I said today, tomorrow morning. I'm going to try to cover BGS's other video. And shout out to the brother BGS. Because that's the one I really wanted to cover. I really want to cover this video. About black men being single, because I'm going to attempt to link it to Adam Curtis's documentary Hypernormalization, because of something that BGS said in his video. And I'm going to tie that to the word atomization also. So just look out for that tomorrow morning. And if not tomorrow morning, hopefully by tomorrow afternoon, that video should be also coming out for you guys. And yeah, so, and what's going on, Toya? And Toya says hit that like button. Oh, hit like on your way out. Yes, please hit that like button on your way out, you guys. Thank you, Spainman. See, that's a nameless type quote right here. And Spainman says, "Yeah, that would be a good excuse me, that would be a great side quest stream, right?" The main part of the RPG game is to talk about black people and black politics and black relationships, or lack thereof, right? And the side quest is some car talk, right? And we'll leave it out with PK. And the brother PK says, I spoke about that last Saturday on Arts. That's where that vid came from, that BGS did. Oh, okay. And Charles Falk, see PK, you should have been the last person, but Charles Faulkner, I should be selling out to Charles right now. But Charles says, look up the song Big Bird. Okay, I will do that. I'll do that. I'll do that. Right. Look up the song Big Bird. Okay. Wait a minute. Charles and the funnies. Did it? You know, homegirl kind of does though. She kind of look. I ain't gonna go into her looks, Charles. I'm not doing this with you, Charles. I'm not going into her looks, but kind of though, kind of. Damn, Charles. Oh, you're the worst. Oh, you're the worst. And on that note, love, peace, and chicken grease. And PK says, post COVID, things got worse, man. You would have thought they would have got their mind right, right, PK, but apparently not, right? Apparently not. So, we'll end it out right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I will pause right there. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. You know, and check for me tomorrow morning, maybe. If not tomorrow afternoon, possibly, hopefully, right? And yeah. So, damn, Charles, that shit was funny. And we'll end it out right there. So y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, and I will end it out right here. Mr. Z out. All right, everyone.